Good evening and welcome to our 6 o'clock time slot for member conversation tonight. Um, so, sorry guys, I will be speaking with the lovely Rebecca very shortly. So I'm not sure if many of you are going to be able to join us at this time, but who knows, because it's not going to stay, at 8:30 forever. And then Rebecca's there right on cue, so we're going to forward with us and see if we can break the VPNG curse.
Hi.
Hello. We have vision, we have sound, and we did it the first time. So there
Go
you
us, go us.
Cooking with gas. I've just ushered my two boys out of the room, arguing with each other, and here we are.
How are you doing? How was your day?
Yeah, it's one of those, see clients, come home, do some admin, do some work in the groups, and then sit down and,
Bits.
bits and pieces of
Yeah.
days I find we have a lot of, or I have a lot of. Yeah.
Same here. Lots of little bits and pieces, getting paperwork done and all of that kind of stuff behind the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting because the big thing at the moment is all about, batching. We know with time management to batch. So we do this here and we do that there and that there, and still kind of hard to make that actually happen,
I'm
I
hopeless at
find.
batching. I find I work the best. I try and have my Fridays off so I can do a big chunk of work at the one time because I just feel like I get so much done that way. But the 1 hours, the
Yeah.
half hours, I find that in the middle of clinical work as well, I feel like I just need to have a rest and go for a walk and have a
Yeah.
long coffee and then before I know it,
Yeah.
there's an hour gone. So yeah, yeah,
Totally. I hear you.
recharge.
I relate. Yeah. So, Rebecca, would you like to introduce yourself for people who are watching either now or
Yeah,
later?
sure. So I'm a private practice owner and a psychologist. Um, so I've been practicing for 17 or so years now, and in the last 6 years, I decided to open up my own practice. So that I moved into Berwick maybe 6 years ago now, and I started as a
Mm-hmm.
little sole trader and just had my little clinic buzzing along upstairs from here actually, which was really nice. And then I quickly
Mm-hmm.
outgrew that, and I needed to put on a contractor. And so that happened quite quickly, like that happened within the first year. So that was a bit
Mm-hmm.
I set up this practice and I started to wind down the other. I was contracting with another person over in Ringwood, which was fabulous. But I expected
Yeah.
to be able to wind down a little bit after that, but it kind of blew up and I never really planned to have a group practice. It was one of those things that just happened. And yeah,
Okay.
so now we've got 3 psychologists and we've got a clinical hypnotherapist and a dietitian, and I'm just in the process of advertising for a relationship therapist and either a mental health social worker or another psychologist. So yeah,
Right. Yeah. And we spoke a little bit briefly before about the problems that a lot of group practice owners have with recruiting staff, and a little bit about the process for you this time round. Would you like to share with people a little bit about that?
yeah. So I think so. I've been advertising through Indeed for a little while, and yeah, I don't know if I actually got any applications. I just got funny applications, from people who aren't qualified. So you tend to get a lot of that,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm a builder, I'd like to do that. And I think they might, I know that,
Really?
I think they might be people ticking the boxes off maybe from their Centrelink
Uh,
applications. Yeah, but
right.
you tend to get, oh, well,
Right.
I have tended to have a lot of those kind of people. So, yeah, so that's a bit okay, but. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
I've recently had 2 applicants that are really interesting, and they've just come from. One was actually a really interesting one through she knew us in the local community, and she's not really looking for a change at this point, but it popped up on her Facebook feed, and she had been scouting our clinic for a little while, and she'd heard really good things, and this opportunity's come up. So I think she's really interested to join our practice. So that might be a timing thing. And the other psychologist came through a Facebook, like some of my Facebook lives and my adverts as well. Yeah. So
So
yeah,
very much, yeah, visibility and reputation and yeah, and a bit of your brand. You know, when we talk about brand, so
yeah.
this is what you're known for. You've got that reputation
Yeah,
out
which is
there.
really interesting
Yeah.
because I suppose I haven't really focused too much on the brand. It's something that's happened organically. I was the brand to start with. You know, I kind of had my values and my ideals and the way I practiced all locked in my head. And over the years, I suppose I've attracted other clinicians that have espouse those values as well. So it hasn't really been a conscious thing, but more recently through my work with business coach and things like that, it's become a little bit more obvious to me what that brand is and how to get that
Right.
across. I'm still in the early days of that though.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's, starting to produce some results for you anyway, which is really good.
Yeah.
So, um, how did you get to be a psychologist? What was your journey to become a psychologist? How did that look
Yeah,
like?
that's a good question. So I used to play competitive table tennis throughout my younger years, and I was heavily
Mm-hmm.
involved in it. And I remember I was probably about 13 or 14, and we had the Victorian. So we were in the VIS. We were a part of the Victorian Institute of Sport. So we had some psychologists that came and talked to us about physiological arousal and relaxation and visual imagery and all of those kind of
Mm-hmm.
things and how
Mm-hmm.
that impacts on performance. And so I fell in love. I was like, oh wow, that's what I want to do. Like that makes total sense to me
Mm-hmm.
because it really was a mental game for me at that point. And I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to do that for a living. Like I love the whole concept of it, and I did everything that they told me to do, and I was a model student in that regard. But it just opened up a
Mm-hmm.
whole new world to me in terms of how your thinking can affect your behaviours and all of that. So sports psychology was my passion to start with, and then I
Mm-hmm.
started down my path, and but I got distracted along the way because I really love the counselling side of things. Yeah, so I ended up.
Yes.
I still do a little bit of performance. I do some performance psychology and hypnotherapy with some clients. I don't advertise it. It's not really a niche or anything like that, but I do enjoy that kind of work. But yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
certainly not something that I pursued. I just fell in love with the counselling after that. So
Right.
yeah.
And and so you do hypnotherapy as well?
Yeah, yep, I do. I've been doing that for
Yeah.
a long time now as an adjunct to the therapy that I offer. So I find it
Mm-hmm.
super useful for particularly with my anxiety clients, but also like you can kind of apply it across a lot of different areas. So phobias, anxieties, confidence, healing, relationship
Mm-hmm.
breakups, even gut health and physiological ailments and physical ailments. Yeah, so I use it a lot actually. Yeah, yeah,
Mm. That sounds super
yeah.
interesting. It does. So, what is the main clientele you work with in your clinic?
So
What?
yeah, so we're quite a general clinic. We at this point we see a lot of so we're over 16, and we see
Mhm.
couples, we see individuals, we see people, a lot of relationship issues, adjustment issues, grief and loss, anxiety, lots of trauma, depression, eating disorders. So I've got a background in eating disorders as well. I don't like to see a
Okay.
lot of eating clients with eating disorders at the one time, so I don't tend to market that part of my business because I find yeah, I just like to have a small number of those kind of clients.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, so quite generalised. Yeah.
Okay. So who's your favourite type of client to work with?
So I love the client. I love women. I like to work with women around the ages of maybe 25 to 40 who have gone
Mm-hmm.
through eating issues and body image disturbances, who want help around body confidence and body image issues. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that really lights me up. So, yeah.
Oh. Do you promote that
I
as
don't.
I didn't know that. See, I
Yeah,
didn't know that
yeah,
about
I
you.
don't. I've really been doing a lot of thinking about it lately, like the type of client that really lights me up. And I have a
Mm.
lot of those kind of clients. I have a lot of those kind of clients. So I have a lot of clients who used to suffer from eating disorders. So I feel
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
almost have grown up with them in a way. So I
yeah.
started off seeing a lot of teenagers who had very, very severe eating disorders in my younger practicing days. And so the clients that I kind of tend to attract now are ones who may have suffered from those behaviours when they were younger, but they've resolved a lot of the eating issues, but they actually haven't maybe resolved the underlying
Mhm.
concerns and the body
Yeah,
image and the relationship that they have with themselves. And I love doing
yeah,
that work now. Yeah.
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 Yes, it shows in your face.
I don't have a poker face.
No. In sessions, I don't have a
No.
poker face in sessions sometimes. I sit there and I go, oh my God.
I roll.
Oh, it's just, I suppose working with, I mean, I love working with the teens and the young adults, and I find that, the sense of humour and the relaxed atmosphere you can have with them.
Yeah.
I think I really like that. So yesterday we walked into a room. I was doing a session at Headspace, and I was in this room, and it's like I walked in and I said to my client, I said, "Oh, it's like they've given us the spare room.
Ah,
There's just furniture shoved in
the
everywhere."
junk room.
I just laughed.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
just that was just funny. Anyway, that's just me. You have to have humour in therapy. I do believe
Especially with young
there's a real place
people.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So, what do you do in your spare time when you're not running a busy practice and trying to recruit and
Oh, I've got two little kids and a husband. We're currently building a house, which is fun
oh,
actually. Like it
mhm.
hasn't been
Okay.
stressful. It's really exciting. We do a lot of family stuff, and we also go out with friends. We have a quite a close knit community. I'm from the hills in the Dandenong Ranges, so we spend a lot of
Mm-hmm.
time doing barbecues and catch ups and things like that. Kids sport.
Yep.
And one of our passions is snowboarding. So we're going up to the
Oh,
snow
mhm.
in a week. So we try and do that once a year. But we lived in Canada for a couple of years back in the day. So that's my hidden passion. And then I do all the usual, like I mountain bike and I walk and do Pilates and yoga, and so we're a very active family, and I've always been very active, which is, yeah, I suppose that's just been passed down to our kids, and yeah, my husband enjoys
Yeah.
that kind of stuff too. So, and I love reading as well, listening to music, going to see bands, theatre, all the fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So lots of varied things. So in the physical, all of that provides a great counterpart to sitting on our butts doing admin and talking to clients, all that movement.
Yeah, for sure. I discovered
Yeah.
Pilates about a year and a half ago because my back was starting to get quite sore. Getting a
Mm,
little bit older and
mm,
all of that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, what's that,
mm.
that twinge going on there? And I just found that sitting in the therapy chair was taking its toll a little bit. So I've had to make
Yes.
more of a conscious effort to. I'm actually a 6 a.m. exerciser now, which I never thought that I would be, but I actually find now that it's
Mm.
essential for me to move my body in the morning before I go and sit
Yes.
down and do that client work. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Look after
Well,
what I've
yeah.
got.
That's
Yeah,
right. And we can't actually stand up and do therapy. Mind you, I'm up and down a fair bit because I love my whiteboard. But
that's a
we
good idea.
you can't just kind of say, okay, client, stand up. We're having this
Yeah.
session
I'd
standing.
love to do some walk and talk therapy actually. So that's I don't know. There's some people around that do it. I've never
Yeah.
embarked on it, but I kind of think, oh, that'd be pretty cool. But I don't know.
It's just a matter of getting your insurance, and it's definitely not covered under Medicare, I don't think. So,
No,
yeah, it's
outside.
a specialised,
Yeah.
yeah, niche. But yeah, there are a few doing it. I know someone who they don't work in a clinic room at
Oh
all.
wow, that'd be good.
So
Yeah.
they'll do walk and talk, or meet in cafes, or do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting. So what do you find the biggest challenge owning a private practice?
Oh, so the biggest one, or so the biggest.
One of the many challenges. Pick your
Look,
favourite
for
challenge.
me, the biggest challenge I think has really been the transition from, or the transition. I'm slowly learning how to take my clinician hat off and be a leader, which doesn't really come that naturally to me. I kind of have always liked to be in the background with my colleagues and be a peer. So I've resisted that transition quite a lot, but I feel a bit more comfortable being a leader now, and I suppose it's that assertiveness and being able to be very particular about the way I think or how I feel, or yeah. So yeah, but that's been a nice. It's been an uncomfortable transition, but something that I've done. Yeah, so I find that's probably the biggest challenge for now, but also the second biggest one would be getting what I do, teaching other people what's going on in my head and putting that into policies and procedures and paperwork and
Yeah.
things like that. Because I do like the life that I lead outside of my practice, it's quite difficult with the kids and the family and the self-care and the clinic to find time to actually really sit with my own thoughts and to process that and to work through all of that and to get that done. So time management, finding time, that's probably a good one. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and I don't think you're alone on that one, and
Yeah.
yeah, it would be nice. Yes. Anything else you'd like to tell us about yourself and your
Oh.
journey as a psychologist? Was it all you? It sounds like you discovered it, and then you started it, and then you kind of fell in love with it. Was there ever any doubt along that
Yeah,
pathway?
no. I suppose I consider myself really fortunate in that regard. I've never doubted this is my calling. Like I truly love it. I do enjoy it, and it's been suggested, I need to cut down my clinical hours, to put more effort into the practice and that kind of balance. But I actually really love the clinical work. I love doing what I do, and I love teaching other people as well. So I like the supervisory role now. So I like mentoring and passing that knowledge on now, which I'm really enjoying. So that's the next part of my career journey, I think. But yeah, no, there was never any doubt, and I feel like, and I often talk about this, that I can see myself doing this well into old age, maybe just 1 or 2 days a week, that kind of thing. But yeah, there was never any
Yeah.
doubt, and I really do love what I do. And I think what's important to me in my practice is that I enjoy going to work. So I've intentionally created a space with lots of sun. Well, I've chosen a space with lots of sunlight and lots of windows and a great team, and I've got a good receptionist who I really enjoy being with. So that's really important to me too, because going to work is such a big part of our lives, or a big part of my life. So yeah, yeah. So I've really enjoyed the journey so far.
So
Yes.
far, so far, so far, so
Yeah.
good. Yeah, great. Well, anything else before
Oh,
we wrap up and let you get on with your family
I don't
duties?
know. I don't know. No, nothing that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on and sharing a bit about who you are and what your journey's been like so far? And now, and people should know whereabouts your practice
Yeah,
is.
so it's Berwick. So it's
Yes.
called Berwick Psychology and Hypnosis. So we're in the Berwick Village in southeast of Melbourne, about 45 minutes away from Melbourne CBD. Beautiful area. You know the area.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah,
I do. Just a stone's throw away.
yeah.
Stone's throw
I'll
away
wave
from
to
there.
you.
So yeah, I was up at the Wilson Park the other
Oh,
morning.
it's
So
gorgeous.
yeah,
Yeah,
lovely up there. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. So I think once again, thank you, and feel free, put your links underneath just as a reminder for people about, where you are and where your page is and all those things. So if people want to find out a bit more.
Great. Thank you very much, Kim. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
Thanks for being a
Great.
guest. Okay. Bye,
Bye.
Rebecca.